episode 4154, Before the Bell Rings.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. Can you believe it? It's finally Friday. It's Confessions of an Upset Mama. And you know what? I am not upset, but I am excited. Why? Because school is about to start. Some of you, it already has. For others, you're like, yes, we're taking the kids to college now before the bell rings. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Well, I'm so excited because I know my grandbabies are about ready to start school. I know that college is around the corner. I have my son's girlfriend who's an RA and everything. It's her senior year. Woohoo! I'm so excited for her. It's awesome. It's awesome. You know, it's just like the pinnacle, right, of everything. And when you send your kids off to school, it doesn't matter if you're sending them off to college, sending them off to their PhD program. Maybe they're 35 years old and they're going back to school. It's still like you're sending them off again, like they were kindergartners or preschool or back in high school, right? And it's one of those things you're like, oh my goodness. And there's just something about the start of a new school year that carries both excitement, which is woohoo, you're excited, but there's weight too. The backpacks are packed, the outfits are picked out, and the alarm is set for a time no one in the house has seen in weeks. You're like, what? We don't use an alarm clock during summertime, but now we have to. And before the bus pulls up, before the shoes are tied and the lunches are grabbed, there's a window of time that belongs to you and your family. And what you do with it matters more than you might think. It's before the bell rings. It's that morning window, the window that doesn't just happen. It is built. And if you are a parent staring down the start of a new school year, wondering how to make mornings feel less like a fire drill and more like a launching pad, you're not alone. I mean, right? I remember it's like, okay, and how am I sending these kids off to school? I'm sitting here like a drill sergeant going, yes, you got to get this done. Where are you? Why don't you have this together? And it's like, why are we starting our days like this, right? Every parent who has ever whispered, please let us not be late, through their clenched teeth knows exactly what that chaos feels like. We've all been there. We've done it. Whether you're trying to get them out the door just to get on the school bus, or whether you have to get out early enough so you can get into the line and drop them off. I mean, it's all the craziness, right? But what if the morning routine was less about getting out the door and more about getting grounded before the door even opens? Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. To commit requires you to be intentional. And the morning routine is your family's first act of commitment for the day. I know sometimes we think, yeah, no, it's not, but yeah, it is. It's the moment where you set the tone, not the clock. Think about it. Your children are walking into classrooms filled with so many voices, teachers, friends, social pressure, comparison, performance. And if they have a smart instrument, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a phone, right? We've got kids that are in kindergarten that have tablets. Believe it or not, there's pressure there. Why? Because they get scores when they take, like, even when they're matching things. It's crazy. The pressure is real for our kiddos, right? Performance is ever present. The world is going to speak to them all day long. But whose voice do they hear first? What words land on their hearts before the bell rings? That is your territory, Mama. That is your gift. Charles Swindoll once said, each day of our lives, we make deposits in the memory banks of our children. The morning is your first deposit of the day. And it does not have to be elaborate. It just has to be intentional. And you've got to be willing to commit to it. And remember, this is not about perfection because let me tell you, milk gets spilled and cereal flies. It does. Socks go missing. Someone will inevitably remember a permission slip at the last possible second. That is real life. It really is, right? For real. But underneath the beautiful mess, there can be a rhythm, a steady beat that tells your kids, you're loved, you are seen, you are not walking into this day alone. Psalm 5, verse 3 puts it beautifully. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my request before you and wait expectantly. There's something powerful about teaching your children by example, right? That the first conversation of the day is with the Lord who already knows what the day holds. You do not need a 30-minute devotional at the breakfast table. It may sound good. It may look good on your highlight reels, but what you need presence. You need purpose. You need a pause before the pace picks up. So as the new school year approaches, let me ask you this. What kind of morning are you building? What does that routine look like? Have you even thought about it? Maybe it's time to anchor your morning. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Anchor your morning before the rush begins. Because honestly, there's no reason to get all bent out of shape if you can prepare ahead of the day's pace. But a lot of times we're running behind before we even start, right? And we're trying to look to the finish line of the day and we forget what's right in front of us. See your kid's heart. Make an impressionable memory on them every single morning. I know when my kids started going off to school, and I'm talking about not elementary, middle school, or high school, I'm talking about college, and then into their careers, working on their masters and everything. And on the first day of school, I would still send them a text. Don't forget to take your first day of school picture. And every once in a while, I would get a text back 1, 2, or 3 days later, depending upon the child. And they'd be like, here, Mom. And I'm like, thank you. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, I see you. I know where you're headed. And I know you're a little unsure of what it's going to be like. Because why? It's something new. It's something different. It's exciting, but there's also weight with that excitement. But even today, like when they start a new job, I'm like, this is your first day at your new job. How awesome is this? And they're probably rolling their eyes or thinking, there's my mom again. But you know what? I'm making an impression. I'm making a deposit on their heart. So anchor your morning before the rush begins. What does it look like in real life? Number 1, speak life before they walk out. Choose one phrase, one scripture, or one truth to say over your child every single morning. It can be as simple as, you are brave, you are loved, you are beautiful, and God is with you today. And maybe that's something that you do when you're brushing your daughter's hair, or you're grabbing some shoes, or you're saying, well, wait, here are your lunches. Make it the last thing they hear before they leave. Words stick, whether they're good, bad, or ugly. So make your words the ones worth carrying. And in all honesty, there were times I was not the perfect parent. I will tell you that. I tried my best. We homeschooled for many, many, many years. And then they did go to private school, and they also went to traditional public school. So they've been in the whole gamut. My children have been indoctrinated to all possibilities, which honestly, I think is a good thing overall. Now, there were some things that we were like, well, maybe that could have been better, or if we would have done this. And, you do what you can with what you have, the knowledge that you know, etc. And there were days that I was like the drill sergeant. I was the fire chief. And I'm like, we've got to go now, and I'm sitting there yelling. I'm thinking now, you look back and you're like, that's how I sent them off to school? Like, why would I do that? Well, because we're all hurried. It's real life. And you know what? Probably the majority of parents are doing the same thing. And you wonder why the teachers are there having to deal with kids that are stressed out, because already their day has started with stress. No, Mama, we don't mean to do that. We don't. Deep down, we don't mean it. But life sometimes gets a hold of us. And sometimes we don't stop long enough to really think. So speak life before they walk out. Make your words the ones worth carrying. Number 2, set your own anchor first. This, I think, is very, very important. Before your house gets really wild and crazy, give yourself 5 minutes. Maybe you need 10 or 15 if you can handle it. And I mean, commit to it, okay? Not to check your phone. Nope. not to review the schedule. You should already know it, but those minutes to breathe, to pray, and to simply sit in silence with the Lord. You cannot pour into your family from an empty cup. You can't. So fill up first. Even if it is just a few quiet sips of coffee and a whispered, God, lead me today. You got this because God's got you. But you've got to be willing to set your own anchor first. Are you doing it? And if you are, maybe you can do it differently or better because you're in a different season of life, a different stage of life with your children. So acknowledge that. You may have to look at things and be, wow, I need to add some words to my vocabulary. Why? Because they're changing. Maybe you need to learn some of the language the kids are speaking, even if they're grown. My child, I don't even remember which one it was. I've already got lost. There's too many of them. It's like roll call. And then they're dating and all. And I'm like, wait, how many people? Who said what, when, where? Anyway, it's fun. I wouldn't change it for the world. But in looking back, I can sometimes remember they would send me an acronym. I'm like, what in the world does this mean? And so I would send back, you want to do da 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 da. And I'm like, what is this? And they'd send back, come on, Mom, get in with the, in the times, come on, get in vogue. I'm like, okay, I get it. And most of the time I eventually figure it out. But it's just much easier because if it's an acronym, right? JK, just kidding. Maybe JK means something else nowadays. You got to be careful, right? So make sure you're also learning your own child's language, let alone creating a way to speak to them because communication is key. And finally, number 3, simplify one thing that always causes chaos. You're like, one thing? I've got about 2,000 things that cause chaos. Okay, but start with one. And then you can go to number 2 and then number 3. But look at your morning honestly and identify the one recurring source of stress. Maybe it's clothes. Maybe it's like picking out that outfit. If you have girls, oh my goodness. There were times that I thought, how many outfits did we go through? And I would take them to school and come back and I'm like, it looks like we went through 1,000 outfits. Everything's on the bed. And I'm like, half of it I know is clean. And then guess what? They come home. I leave it for them to clean up. Where does it all go? In the dirty clothes. I'm like, yeah, that's not dirty. Take it out and hang it up. Okay, yeah. So maybe you can relate to that. Maybe it's your lunches. I mean, with 5 kids, I had lots of lunch bags and they required different things and they all had their different stuff of what they wanted. So I did try to make a lot of their lunches prior to. Now, if it was a sandwich or something like fruit, if I was cutting up fruit, I would wait till the morning to do that. But I planned ahead. So if I could have a majority of everything packed and I had them all lined out, then I could go ahead, get their lunches done, and out the door we went. Maybe it's finding shoes, too many, or you left them downstairs and they don't remember they left them, yet they could be standing right there, right in front of them. And you're like, I think you left them downstairs. Well, I'm downstairs, Mom. I don't see them. And they're literally at the bottom of their own feet, but they still don't see them. Stress. But can you resolve that? Can you simplify that one thing? Solve it the night before. Lay it out. Pack it up. Put it by the door. Removing one friction point creates breathing room. And breathing room is where peace lives. And honestly, we need that. We all need a little peace in our lives, right? Because already it's chaotic. The kids, if they're going off to school and they've got tests, I mean, I know we're just starting, but pretty soon they're going to have their first test. They're going to have some freak out moments. It might be their first day at show and tell. They may be bringing snacks, or it may be college and it's already their, midterm. And you're like, how did we get to midterm so fast? You blink and we're there. The morning routine is not really about the routine at all, is it? It is all about the foundation you are laying beneath your child's feet every single day, no matter the age. The day does not start when the bell rings. It starts when love speaks first. So I want you to keep this in mind. This is not about your picture perfect morning, right? And let me throw this in here. Free bonus here. If you haven't started, you haven't had your first day of school yet, go in advance, dress the kids up, and go take school pictures. Don't do it on the actual first day of school. Let me tell you this. They're not going to read the date when you took that picture. 2 days, 1 week is not going to make that much of a difference. So allow yourself some and take the pictures before. It's important. Then you have them. And then the first day of school, it's all about them, not trying to get all the pictures everything where it's like, oh, I got to have this picture perfect moment. And already you're frazzled. You're like, I can't even speak. And then I'm supposed to have the right words. And I want them to go off to school happy and not mad at me and all of this. Yeah, all of a sudden you're what? Exhausted. And it hasn't even been 20 minutes. Remember, this is not about the picture perfect morning where you show off in a highlight reel how altogether you've got it. Probably a lot of times you're not going to have it all together, but it doesn't matter. You need a present one. You need a morning where your kids feel the steadiness of a home that is rooted in something deeper than the rush. Where are your mornings rooted? What are the words that you're sharing? What memories and what impact and deposits are you putting on your child's heart? And guess what, Mama? You are the right person to create all of it. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.